everybody, it's me, Zach, this is Judy, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and I'm back again with another recap episode of the 1,000 Pound Sisters, the critically acclaimed, award-winning hit reality television show starring Amy Slaton and Tammy Slaton over there on the old TLC. And today we have an okay episode. It was a good episode. Lots happened. Lots happened for the people who love to just watch good things happen to Amy in this episode. Lots happened for those people, for that crowd. There was like far less just like Tammy being miserable and terrible. I mean, it was there. She was still there. She was still miserable, but there was far less. So like, if that's what you come for normally, well, you're a little bit out of luck this week, I guess, to some extent. Although we'll talk a little bit about it because, you know, Tammy's gonna Tammy. Tam Gucci is gonna Tam Gucci. With that being said, you know, y'all are still out here sending me these articles to these, I don't know, dumb tabloid internet websites. I don't know, I don't know how else to say it, but people keep sending me these, and this week there's one making the rounds about Tammy being a ward of the state or something like that. And truly, like, just please click the article and read through the article, because the headlines all say things like, is Tammy Slaton a ward of the state? And then when you go and read them, it's like, no, we don't know if she is or not, but they talked about it on the episode. So if you don't remember, last week they did talk about it. Misty said, we're just gonna have to make her a ward of the state and let them worry about her. It's just folks reading into things. Now, what I will say is those articles do show pictures of her being in like a hospital facility. And she's in the hospital facility because if you recall, I did a video probably like a month ago at this point. I don't know. I'll link it somewhere down below so you can go watch it. But she posted a TikTok about how she was basically septic, unconscious, like she was, I think, in like a coma to some extent. She had carbon dioxide poisoning, meaning she couldn't expel the carbon dioxide inside of her lungs. With that also being said, Amy commented on my last video when it came to the conversation that we were having about Tisa last week. Amy cleared up things about Tisa, which also apply to this concept of, is Tammy a ward of the state or not? So Tammy said, Tisa's still around, but with Tammy in Ohio in a rehabilitation with a trach, she's just off at the moment. Now you see where she gets the bad food, not family. I think that last part was in reference to like Ralph, Rob, and JT. Is that his name, JT? So that's not relevant to what we're talking about. But the thing is that Tammy is in a rehabilitation center in Ohio. She mentioned in her original TikTok that I covered on this channel that after she got out of the hospital she was in, she would be going to rehab, because not only does she have to probably monitor what she's eating and things like that, but she also just has to relearn how to function. That's a thing that happens once you're like in a coma. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that you want me to have all the latest tea, but when you're reading these articles, make sure you're actually reading them, not just like clicking on the headline or looking at the headline, okay? Just make sure you're reading all the way through it. I'm happy to help people be critical, like, consumers of media, and that's a really important part of it, right? Don't just like look at the headline, but actually read the whole article that they have to say, because they get you think that it's gonna be about one thing, but they quickly just talk about like, oh my gosh, they're talking about making her a ward of the state. Sound good? Can we all agree to start reading these articles before we click on them? Is that good? Are we good? Well, I mean, I guess you can click on them, but once you click on them, can you make sure you read them? We all agree Do you agree? If you agree, let me know in the comments. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. With all of that being said, let's jump into this week's episode. And this week's episode starts off with Amy and Michael getting their move on. Like the good first like half of this episode maybe felt like it was really just about Amy and Michael moving, which I think is great. Happy for them. Love a life moment. I mean, Amy just keeps accomplishing all of these things that like, if you would have told me all of this was going to happen for her. Back when I watched her originally on YouTube before she was ever on TLC, I would have been shocked because this is a much different person than who used to be out here on YouTube doing makeup tutorials in her bedroom with her iPad, okay? So yeah, Amy and Michael have been remodeling, and Misty and Brandon come over to help. Now, we've literally never seen Brandon before, but allegedly he is Chris's son. We've never seen him on the show, but he does come over with Misty to help them move. And you can just tell from all the recording they did during this time that Amy is like emotionally, physically, mentally exhausted and checked out, which like, ooh girl, I feel ya. I would assume home ownership is a stressful process. I would just assume. Yeah, I feel ya. And they also did this cute little retrospect of like all of the amazing things that happened in the house that Amy and Michael lived in next to Tammy. And it was really cute and does like really emphasize like all of the change and growth that Amy has had even just on this show. And they showed things like her wedding, her surgery, Gage being born. I forgot that the wedding happened in season 1. Like in my head, for some reason, they were like already married, and maybe they were already married and they just did a wedding moment for season 1. I really can't remember. I'm about to be 33 all next week, February 4th, okay? So my brain is a little fried. They show Michael and Brandon moving this mattress straight through the mud.
No mud. Damn, that's heavy. Yeah, that's why I'm just scooting it.
And I'm just like, I hope y'all are gonna just full on replace whatever that sheet is on top of it, because y'all destroyed it. I mean, it didn't look great, period. Much like a lot of their house kind of looked chaotic, to be honest with you. But that mattress, y'all, that mattress looked rough as hell. Like, they took no care to keep that thing clean. Like, I hope they get a thorough cleaning or just a brand new mattress, to be honest with you. And a lot of this first scene of them moving was conversations between Misty and Amy about how Tammy didn't come over, didn't seem to care, didn't seem to want to be a part of what was going on. And I guess Amy's point was just like, I would have just liked her to be there to talk to us, like while we're packing up boxes, zipping up bags, doing whoever, whatever. But Misty was like, you know, she would just be like, I can't help you. I can't do anything. I can't do that. Like, do you really want that around? And that's what I'm thinking. Like, what really would Tammy have done? What would she have had to offer?
I mean, what would you have had to offer? Honestly, what the fuck would she have done?
And honestly, truly, she probably would have caused more problems than help. You know what I'm saying? Like, she would have complained about something. She would have gotten mad about something. Would have probably slowed them all the way the fuck down. Okay? So, I think it's probably for the best, but I do understand why Amy is like, I wish she could have at least come over and, like, hung out and kept me company while I was getting this shit done. There's also this moment where Amy struggles with her bra and she's just so mentally exhausted she can't.
Just picture bra.
I don't give a about this bra.
And before they like leave the old house, Amy tries to go in and say goodbye to Tammy, and Tammy cusses her out.
Let me tell Tammy bye.
Alrighty.
Hey, we're leaving for the new place. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Okay, bye. That little change her tantrum bull.
And I just, like, don't understand. I mean, it's hard to say. I feel like it was, like, clear that Tammy didn't want to actually be filmed because otherwise she would have came out of her house to be filmed or, like, agreed to be on camera. So I'm sure she was, like, not in a great mood or something like that. But goddamn, like, your sister who has lived next to you and supported you for years now, like, is leaving and moving and you can't be bothered to just, like, give a friendly goodbye? Ma'am. Ma'am! So they get to the new house, and of course, our Lord and Savior fart queen, Tammy Slaton, has to christen the new house with a fart as soon as she walks in.
I just farted.
And honestly, that feels like all the good energy the spaces need. You've heard of people like saging houses when they move in and things like that. Nah, you just need Amy to come in and crop dust and you're gonna be good to go. So the next like scene of the episode is Amanda coming over and like helping get things organized, put away. It looked like maybe she was folding laundry. I don't know, don't care, doesn't matter. In this scene, we get the little bit shot of the week. And honestly, there's lots of little bit this week, lots of little bit all over the place, which obviously I loved. I loved it. There was so much of her, but I just had to pick this one because I don't know that we've seen little bit in like the confessional situation, you know, like where Amy's sitting there talking to the camera to the producers. I don't know that we've ever seen little bit in a situation like that. And if we had, I've forgotten. I really just thought she was so cute here with Amy, and I just wanted to highlight that for y'all. So while Amanda's there helping, Chris brings over an old table from his house because he and Brittany are getting a new table, dining room table for their house. And this dining room table is from their childhood home. So there's lots of memories and they have like a real cutesy moment, all of them just like talking about, you know, eating at the table, being together, being with family, and that's cute. Love that for them. And then we get a little bit of like prelude to doctor talk because both Chris and Amy have doctor's appointments coming up, so they're just chatting and checking in about those things. Amy is finally making a trip back to Dr. Proctor in this episode, which y'all know how I feel about Daddy Dr. Proctor. Y'all know how I feel about him. I just think, you know, if I was not a taken individual and Dr. Proctor was, I don't know if he's taken or not. I assume he probably is. But if he was not taken and he was into me, it would be over for you all. But that's besides the point because the scene doesn't even have Dr. Proctor in it. Amy's just telling Chris that she's a little bit nervous because she knows she isn't really where she needs to be. She hasn't been really focusing, and she uses Gage as a reason for why she hasn't been eating right, because she's been eating his animal crackers.
I tend to eat whatever Gage is eating. Why waste my food when I could just share a plate with him? So mostly it's been like animal crackers.
And I'm just like, that's sus because you shouldn't be eating things just because Gage is. But also, is Gage eating anything besides animal crackers? Girl, what are you doing? Although I'm not a parent, maybe it's okay for kids these days to just eat animal crackers. Maybe they have them like non-GMO, organic, superfood animal crackers for kids these days. But Chris is also going to be doing a follow-up appointment with Dr. Smith. And as you know on this show, usually when Chris goes in for a doctor's appointment, Tammy comes along. But he doesn't know if Tammy's going to want to come along. So he calls up Tammy to see if she wants to go. And she's just like, nah, bruh. nah, no thank you.
What are you doing, bitch?
Damn, sounds like she coughing up a lung.
I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. You gonna go with me? You don't want to go? Well, the invitation's open, but you don't want to go, that's cool too. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Honestly, truly, she sounded horrible. Like, I don't know, she sounded groggy. Her voice was raspy and hoarse, like, I guess more than it is normally. Like, I don't know what was going on, but they all agree, they being like Chris, Amanda, and Amy, all like, I don't think, like, what are we gonna do? We can't do anything. So Chris is basically like, listen, I'll talk to Dr. Smith and see if we got some more options. So the next scene is Chris and Brittany going to see Dr. Smith, and it's pretty chill. It's pretty like, you know, doing our thing at the doctor's office, nothing too crazy. Brittany calls Chris out for liking sweets a little too much post-surgery. Chris does his weigh-in and he's at 348, which he said puts him down 68 pounds. I can't remember if he was saying that was like I feel like that's got to be post-surgery, but I was a little unclear if it was like post-surgery or like overall, but I think it's probably post-surgery. And Dr. Smith does ask about Tammy because, well, one, he knows that they're filming the show, but two, I guess probably because, you know, she's normally there and she's not now. But he acknowledges that he knows what Tammy's been up to because guess what, Dr. Smith? He's on the social media. He's on the Instagram. He's seen the TikToks. He's seen the TikToks. He knows what's going on. He sees all the behavior that Tammy's been displaying, just like we all saw it when it was happening in real life. He suggests that, you know what he's gonna do? He's just gonna come make a house call. Like, you know, doctors don't really do that as much these days, but he said, I'll do it. I'll do it because also TLC's got this paycheck for me to come show up. But yeah, I'll drive to middle of nowhere, Kentucky and check in on Tammy. We will figure out what's going on with Tam Gucci. So that's about it for what's going on with Chris. It seems like Chris is doing great. It seems like he's making the progress he needs to be. And the next scene we get is a get-together hosted by Amy at her new abode, and they're looking at some DNA test results, which, like, I don't know. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I could give two shits about, like, all of the DNA testing kits and stuff like that. I mean, DNA-wise, I'm very German on my mom's side. They're, like, all very German folks on that side, but I don't even know what's going on my dad's side. And honestly, I don't know that knowing that I might be from Denmark would really change a whole lot about like how I go about pursuing my life today. So I'm happy not giving my DNA to all these rando companies, but also if that's your thing, if that's your gig, I don't want to shit on that for you. And obviously they wanted to know. They were doing this DNA thing because they wanted to know if they were really related to the Queen of England. So if you don't recall from like 4 episodes where they made one offhanded comment about potentially being related to the Queen of England, then let me remind you that happened when they went to the high tea moment. But Amy lets us know that she's royalty regardless.
I don't need a crown to say I'm royal. I got blue hair. That's royalty.
And honestly, I'm wearing a hat today, but same, bestie, same. So the scene starts and Darlene and Tam Gucci roll up in the old red caravan and they just chill out in the van. That's where they're not getting out. They won't get out of the vehicle. They're just going to chill right there. And Amy went as far to say that Tammy was now vehicle bound. She might not be house bound, but she's vehicle bound so she can get out, but she can't really get out, which was kind of my point with her going to the liquor store in the last episode. Like, what's the point of getting loaded up if you can't even go into the liquor store and buy your own liquor and pick out your own liquor? I don't understand the point. But also, I will say, to both Darlene and Tammy's credit, like, Amy does point out that she did say she would put a ramp up so that they could get in easier, and she just hasn't. And, you know, when it comes to accessibility, yeah, if you can't, like, get your wheelchair or whatever assistive device you use into a person's home, then yeah, that's gonna probably prevent you from being able to get in. But the whole like reveal of their DNA results was super anticlimactic because I was like, what did y'all really think was gonna happen? Did you think the piece of paper was gonna say, yes, you are a royal. You are a royal. Let's get y'all some crowns. Let's get y'all your scepter, your jewels. Like, that's not how they work, but it did say that they were like very largely like English or like British, or I don't know, Welsh. I think they had some Welsh there, some Scottish. I don't really know. But then that's also my thing with like DNA test kits, because like they're so far away from anything related to the United Kingdom at this point. Like, this particular family is so far removed that even if they were related to the Queen or have that heritage, like, how much does that even impact their life now? It doesn't. It sure doesn't. They're still living in Kentucky. They surely are. So the next thing I want to say, because the second half of this video, or this episode, I guess, I don't know why I said video, but the second half of this episode is really kind of focused on, well, at least when it comes to Amy, focused on whether or not she may or may not be pregnant. So at this little family gathering, DNA result test reading moment situation type of deal, Amanda had gone inside to like go get the test results or whatever and bring them out because, you know, Tammy and Darlene can't go inside. And while she was in there, she was in the bathroom, okay? And I guess what I will say before we get to this is that we know in real time right now that Amy Slaton is pregnant, okay? She's pregnant with her second kid. I think the last I saw she was like 15 weeks pregnant, which I guess like when would that have made her like officially pregnant? That's probably what, like 3 months ago? 4 months? I don't know. Y'all, if y'all could see the gears turning in my head trying to do that math. So it's January now, December, November, October. Maybe October is when she found out. Which I don't know if they were filming then or not. So I don't know if this is like them talking about her currently being pregnant or not. But anyways, like I said, Amanda went into the bathroom, okay? She goes into the bathroom while she's there and she finds an ovulation kit in the bathroom. Amy was trying to play coy like, oh, like if it happens, it happens. And Amanda's like, girl, well, I found this ovulation kit. That means that you're trying to pay attention. But you know what? Mama Slaton doesn't give no shits about an ovulation kit.
This ovulating stuff, that don't mean nothing. When the good Lord's ready for you to have it, he'll give it to you.
I just about lost it when you said that. Can you believe her? I feel like they have really given Mama Slaton a redemption edit this season because they've allowed her to be funny and not just be some like old curmudgeon that doesn't want anything good to happen in the world. Like, if y'all don't remember season 1, she was so miserable when she showed up in season 1, and I just have really appreciated every time she's come on screen for season 3. Misty thinks that it'll be real hard on Amy to have, 2 kids. 2 kids so close together. And I actually did see some people say that whenever Amy announced that she was pregnant. They were like, this is going to be so hard on her, like having 2 kids back to back, plus still trying to lose weight, plus having the gastric bypass surgery recently. And I don't disagree, but also like it seems like Amy really very much wants this and like is concerned about like the biological clock ticking down on her. So, you know, she is an adult human who can make her own choices, and she clearly has because she's pregnant in real life. Not on the show yet. We don't know that on the show yet. But she is. She's like announced it on social media. And then they kind of go back to the conversation about Darlene and Tammy not going inside. And Amanda's just like, listen, Amy just did this huge thing. She just wants you to be able to go inside and appreciate like the remodeling they did, the fact that she owns this house. And they just like don't seem to get it. Like they don't, like Tammy's like, why do I have to go inside to appreciate that? Why do I have to go inside to be proud of Amy? But she doesn't actually get too far into any of that because she just, you know, goes right straight to, I don't feel good.
Why can't I be proud of her out here just as well as going in? I don't feel.
She don't feel good. I can look at her face and see how red, like she got a fever or something.
Which, you know what? Probably true with the way she's been treating her body and drinking and partying and stuff. I'm sure she doesn't feel great. But also, like, that is just, like, her very first, like, go-to anytime any kind of, like, even small conflict. Because I don't even think Amanda was trying to have conflict with anybody here. I think Amanda was really, truly just trying to have a conversation about like, hey, let's get you there eventually. And Tammy shut down and said, I don't feel good and I don't want to talk anymore. So there's that. That was that scene. The next scene is Amy, Gage, and Michael flying to Atlanta to go see Dr. Proctor again. It's been I think 11 months or something like that, they said. But Amy's nervous to be flying. It's her first time flying ever. And they do show a little bit of her experience in the airport. And there was a moment where there was allegedly turbulence and Amy had to make a fart joke.
I'm just scared because there's turbulence.
I just, I don't know where I'm going to get all my fart joke material once this show is over. I truly don't. But I'll just have to anxiously await a season 4 is really, truly what I'm going to have to do. So Amy shows up to her appointment with good old Dr. Proctor, and he's just looking fine as ever. Okay, I already gave my 2 cents about how attractive I find him, but it is what it is. I'll say it again just for prosperity. Dr. Proctor, very hot, could get it. And it was really cute because he met Gage for the first time, and it was cute. He was genuinely very excited to see him, and I think that must be a really cool thing to experience. This patient of his came in and said, one of the reasons I want to lose this weight and get healthier is because I want to have kids someday, and he got to see a product of that effort. And I can only imagine that must be cool as a doctor to see. But Amy had some BS excuses for why she hadn't really stuck with the weight loss or the health journey or whatever we're calling it. I mean, we already heard earlier in the episode that she was eating Gage's food instead of just eating her own. But now she's blaming the remodeling and the moving on not meeting her goals, which to some extent I can relate to. I've moved before. When you're moving, the only thing you're thinking about is let's get my shit out, and sometimes you have to eat whatever's available. I get that to some extent, but it's girl, we know it wasn't just this. It wasn't just this period of time where you're moving that you weren't doing what you were supposed to be doing. So the last time that Amy saw Dr. Proctor, she was 288 pounds, and she was also pregnant at the time, okay? So it's been a while. It's been a while because Gage is a baby, a full-grown baby. So it's been a long time, and now she weighs in at 275 pounds, which, I'm glad at least isn't, a weight gain for her, because I feel she would probably feel pretty defeated, but also not as much progress as Dr. Proctor would have liked. Dr. Proctor also takes some time to ask about Tammy while they're there, and he shares that he's worried about her. I mean, she hasn't been a patient of Dr. Proctor's in a minute, so I don't know how much they can really talk about. Plus, I don't know what HIPAA laws matter here or not, especially since they probably signed away all of their rights according to HIPAA whenever they agreed to do this television show. But, I appreciate that he's still concerned about her. And of course, they have to have the conversation about whether or not Amy wants more children. And Amy said that she thinks that it might be coming soon because she thinks she might be pregnant. That's what she said. And she had a mixed egg salad with grape salad situation, and that was what it was for her that made her think she was pregnant.
But I noticed for the last couple of days that I've been eating some pretty weird stuff, and I was eating egg salad and I was eating grape salad, so I mixed the two together. And it's just been like that, weird combinations. That's a 12-tail sign.
The old 12-tail sign, y'all. If there's a 12-tail sign that I knew to be the one that says people are pregnant, it's that one. So that was that for Dr. Proctor's office. That was pretty much all that happened. And the next scene we see is Amanda going in to check in on Tammy. And honestly, truly, I think some people could see aspects of this scene being Tammy not being great. But overall, I actually think it shows Tammy in a pretty good light, and also shows her being vulnerable for once, which I think is kind of rare for Tammy at this point. Amanda goes over, checks in. Tammy's hungover from hanging out with the boys. And Amanda starts to say the things I don't think this is great for you. I don't think that this is great decision making on your part. And Tammy's like, listen, I'm aware, and what I don't need is you to come in here and tell me, because I know what I'm doing to my body. I know what's happening here. And Tammy goes on to say some stuff like, listen, I just want to live my life the way that I want to live it, and I don't understand why people want me to live a certain type of way. What she's missing is that the only reason people want her to live a certain type of way is because the way that she's living now makes her reliant upon all of them, and that they have to shape their lives around what she's doing and helping her and supporting her. And that's why people want her to change. Also because they care about her. Also because they want her to be healthy and they want her to keep living a long, happy life. So speaking of that, Amanda's like, anytime I approach Tammy, I want her to know that I do care about her. And so Amanda's approach is to bring her a gift, which, like, what are we rewarding her for? What are we? I was like, when she first brought that gift bag out, I'm like, why are we giving her a gift? What did she do to deserve a gift on this day here, right here? But after seeing the gift, I understood. So yeah, Amanda brought one of Tammy's grandma's old quilts, and it seemed like Tammy was genuinely so appreciative for it and about it. And it seems like Tammy, actually, I'm pretty sure Tammy's talked on the show before about the relationship she had with her grandma. And I don't know, for me, I felt like this was like the most raw and genuine we've seen Tammy ever be with her emotions. And I wish she could like tap into that a little bit more when it comes to seeing a therapist and things like that, because that's the kind of stuff she needs to deal with. Those are the kinds of like emotions, feelings, demons, whoever, whatever, that she needs to get in touch with so she can make peace with them. Amanda also points out that her grandma would have wanted Tammy to live a long, healthy life and not to give up. But Tammy's like, I'm not giving up. And I'm just like, are you? But Amanda said that she mostly wants Tammy to know that all of her siblings, her family loves her.
I gave it to her so hopefully when she's in a dark place, she can just wrap herself up in that blanket and just feel how much we love her. There's just so much love there. You know, I can't even begin to put into words what she means to us.
And honestly, I just love Amanda so much. Like, I did not anticipate going into this season that they were going to introduce another sibling of the Slatons and that I would, like, care so much about her. And I think a lot of people agree with me. Like, I've seen it in the comments that people, like, love Amanda. They stan Amanda. I don't know if you should stan anybody, but they love Amanda. And I have really enjoyed her presence. I feel like somehow she has brought a whole different perspective than all of the other siblings, and I just really enjoy her. And Amy, since I know you watch occasionally, if you could just let Amanda know that she is loved by people on the Zachary Mike channel, I would appreciate it. Amanda also tries to convince Tammy that she could go talk to a therapist about some of these things because she's not qualified. Like, none of her siblings are qualified to hear these things, and plus this person would be unbiased. Tammy could talk shit about Amanda all day if she wanted, but Tammy's like, nah, girl, nah, I don't think so. And then the final scene of this episode is Amy taking a pregnancy test in a hotel room. She talks about being a little bit worried because she will still be high risk, and she's also worried about gaining more weight back. But it's a cliffhanger moment. We don't even get to see what happens. But, you know, we do know in real life now, regardless of what this pregnancy test says, she's pregnant. She's having another baby. The previews for next week are looking a little spicy. We get Dr. Smith's little house call moment. Next week, we're going to see Tammy in the back of a van that Chris is driving, and she's struggling with her oxygen. I really believe that that's going to be like the event that leads to the TikTok where Tammy was talking about her carbon dioxide poisoning. So yeah, I think next week is probably going to be the season finale. I'd say that because the following week at the same time slot is the premiere of the 1,000 Pound Best Friends, or as I'm going to call it, 1,000 Pound Besties. So, I think next week's the season finale, so get excited. I don't know. If I remember correctly, I don't feel like season 2 they did a good job of saying like, oh, this is the season finale, because I remember just like tuning in and realizing it was over and being like, what the fuck? But I'm pretty sure next week is. If not, you know, we'll find out next week. But make sure to tune in because I'll be back here with the recap again next week. And then the following week, I'm going to start covering the 1,000 Pound Besties, just like I did the 1,000 Pound Sisters. And if you're not familiar with the 1,000 Pound Besties, I did a fun little preview video of it last week here on my channel. So I'll leave a link to that down below and a pinned comment. So just make sure to go check it out. How about that? Sound good? Sound good. Anyways, I had so much fun with y'all today. I hope you did as well. If this is your first time on my channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the bell button to get notifications every single time I post a new video. Leave a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all of my social media. I also have merch, so go check that out as well. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!